And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm here to touch base with you as I do every morning at 11:15 Eastern Time here in New York City. How are you all doing today? I hope you are having as wonderful of a day as I am. My day started out really cool, just kind of got some work done and got some workout yesterday for my clients. I felt so good to be able to do that. Hey, wait, I got a little limp there going on. What's going on here? I got a little limp ball there. What's happening here? There we go. I think I can get it off. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Getting that playing with this stuff. There we go. Because you know how it is when you get a little limp ball on your shirt, or the people that observe it will be looking at that all through the show. So I had to take care of that. Who's in the building? Who's in the building? Anthony Rowland is in the building. Good morning. Good morning to the man. And thank you for putting yourself on the calendar. We will be hearing from our wonderful Anthony Rowland in May, which is around the corner. It's around the corner. And as a matter of fact, it will be my last interview before I go on vacation. So it'll be with Mr. Anthony Rowland. I'm so excited. Hey, Mr. Brian is in the building. Brian Young Creative is in the building. And we have the wonderful Gary Jackson Jr. So good to see you. So good to see you. No apologies necessary, Gary. No apologies necessary. Hey, Rashawn. Rashawn is here too. There she is. There she is. Rashawn is in the building. And so good to see you, Rashawn. But yeah, so this morning I said, I thought I was going to get up and go for a great morning walk. I usually go up and do my 4-mile walk in the morning. And it did not happen because it was raining. I know some folks go out no matter rain or shine, but not me. I said it's a good time to do some work. So got up. And when I say work, I really don't start my work day until 10 o'clock. But I will do gradually go into things that need to be done, or I'll go onto my social media, check out people, other folks' social media. So that's what I do early in the mornings. Yeah, so that's my thing. And also to my touch base with Gwendolyn or Chris, or you know how we roll. Hey, Lisa's in the building. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa says good morning to everyone. So good to see her. Aya is in the building. Aya. How are you? Yes, it is. Yes, tulips and butterflies. And say Jamel Shabazz. The great Jamel Shabazz is in the building. Great photographer. Legendary. The living legend is here. So good to see you all. And if you are in the Instagram world, come on over to our YouTube channel, which is Touch Base Daily. Just come into YouTube, Touch Base Daily. Put it in the search. And also, when you get here, subscribe. And if you are here and you end up, you say, I like what's being said. I like what's being shared. Hit the like, not just the heart on the side of. Someone brought it to my attention. My son brought it to my attention yesterday. He said, "Hey, I think everyone's hitting the hearts on the side as a like. Y'all have to go to the like button. It says like. It says subscribe and then like. So make sure you tune into there. Hey, I see Sound Ariel is in the building all the way from the West Coast. Love from the Pacific Northwest. Come on over to our Touch Base Daily in YouTube. So today is a special day. You know how we roll. On Wednesdays, it's called Wisdom Wednesday, and we got a lot of wisdom today. We have the great Nelson Soto in the building. He is backstage right now, and he'll be popping on a little bit. And he's going to share about his love for the arts. And I tell you, I've known Nelson for decades, and he's always been someone that stood out to me as being just such a genuine person, always stepping out, doing the things he loves to do, working with people, encouraging people, helping people. He and his wife are such a joy, and but you guys get a chance today to meet him. And And so I met Nelson in church. It's the same church that Omar and I grew up in, here in Brooklyn. And we all became friends and just hung out. And then so it's during Black Lives Matter that we rekindled our friendship. And I get this phone call out of nowhere. Oh, it was a text. Can we get together on the phone? Can we talk? And he says, we get on the phone and he says, I am loving your work. I see what you're doing out in the streets and your photography. And, it means the world to me. And he was really, and I was, kind of like this, when someone voices their love for your work, you kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm usually like a deer in headlights. And but you're listening to the adulation and you're listening to the caring thoughts, and it is really also, it really blesses your heart. And so he was like, I'm thinking about putting together an exhibition. I would love for you to be a part of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I had never been a part of an exhibition before. I had no, it was on my list of things to do. And then out of nowhere, Nelson calls me up and says, would you be a part of this? That I'm creating this a great collection of artists and folks and their work. And we just hit it off. We ended up talking for, I guess, it was wild. We just talked and talked and talked and talked. Well, anyway, it rekindled our friendship, and it's been absolutely amazing. I've had the wonderful honor to be a part of CAFED, which is his baby that he created, exhibitions for diversity, equity, inclusion, equality, just a blessing to artists of all backgrounds. And it gives us a platform to be able to showcase our work. And Nelson's been such an advocate for it. And I am so proud of him because one is that he's had a dream and he made it happen. And that's what these Wisdom Wednesdays is about, is how do we encourage one another to go out and to fulfill our dreams, conquer the world, to create our dreams, to make our dreams a reality. And Nelson has done that. So this is we're not going to talk politics as we always do it. We save that for our Thursdays and Fridays. So we'll be doing that tomorrow with Chris. We'll have Chris on talking politics and what's going on with the crazy trial that's going on here in New York. But it is all about Nelson today. So I'm going to bring him on in a moment, but I just want to say good morning to us. A couple of Omar says, Nelson was a vital part of my decision on becoming a photographer. Isn't that, you see that? So Nelson has had a play in a lot of our lives that grew up in our church that we grew up in. And Omar obviously says, good morning, America. And Cass says, blessed Wednesday. And poor Lisa, she says the allergies are killing her. Anyway, we're not gonna go. I could go down that road. No, I'm gonna bring my boy up. I'm gonna bring him up so we can talk. We can talk shop. And like I said, for all those out there, happy Week, Earth Week. That's what we celebrate also. But yeah, so let's get to it. Let's get to it. It is all about Nelson. And so let's bring him into the studio. What's going on, Nelson?
Hey, how are you? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Ron. How are you?
Good. How are you? What's going on with
Happy
you this
Earth,
morning?
Happy Earth Week. We're celebrating our planet. We love our planet, and it's looking absolutely spectacular. The florals are all out, the bushes, the greens, the trees. I have never seen spring make an entrance like this year. It's been a while.
It's been beautiful. And the reason I think also is this spring is really great in New York because the flowers are really out there.
Everything,
They're really blossoming. They're bigger than ever. I think it's because
everything.
we had so much rain.
Yes, and because I guess the temperature also is cooperating, it
Perfect
allows them
temperature.
to stay alive longer. It's cool, it's not hot, it's not cold, it's just right. May not be great for us, but it's great for the greenery. But
Oh,
it's this week is Earth Week, so let the planet celebrate.
amen to that. So this is good. So I told everyone about you and just kind of gave everyone the foundation of how we how we know each other. And so this is Nelson Soto from Cafe Collection. Collective Artists for Ethnic Diversity. Again, for those that are just joining, welcome to our Wisdom Wednesday. And we are here with our Nelson Soto. And so, Nelson, we have a little tradition here. I like to ask 3 questions, 2 or 3. And so the first question I'm going to ask you, and it has something to do with food.
Ooh, you're asking the right person. I'm a
Yes.
lover of all food.
So, if you were stranded on a deserted island, what food must you have that you cannot live without?
Asian, anything Asian.
Anything Asian, any particular
Love
Asian
Asian.
dish,
All of it.
all of it.
Korean, Mandarin, Cantonese, Japanese. I love Asian food. I think that's the number
Wow.
one on my list. Yeah,
Did not know that. I did not see. I've known him for 30 years and did not know.
love Asian food. I'm a proud Afro Latino Puerto Rican who was born and raised in the Lower East Side of New York in Greenwich Village, but I was surrounded by Chinatown, and I tell you, that was my passion.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the next question. Here we go. 3 fun facts about you that no one knows.
Hmm. I create my own American Idol. I sing everywhere, every song, every genre. I like to pretend to be characters with my students and kids. And it's like being on Broadway when I'm with my kids. So I play all these different characters. And last but not least, I'm not sure. Not sure.
Okay. We
Yeah.
got two. We got
Yeah.
2 out of 3.
It's the theater in me. That's
It's
what it
the
is.
because and you went to school. You went to school here in New York City, right?
I did. I went to public school PS 19 back in the 60s, which is located on, I think, 10 or 11th Street and uh, First Avenue. It's a great neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
uh, quite diverse. And what I loved about the school was that the teachers were excellent, but they were also great supporter of the arts. And
Mm.
since I was young, I've always been fascinated with art, whether it be film or TV or music. Uh, Public school PS 19 was a school that had great teachers that taught well. The foundation as intermediate school, but they really supported the arts, which kind of reinforced my interest in art.
And that
Yeah.
takes me straight to the point, to your career journey. How did you obviously it started when you were young. It started with
Hmm.
public school, PS. That means elementary school. Um, when did you realize that you wanted to be a part of the art world, working, first of all, what do you love about art that spawn you on to becoming more indulging yourself into the art world?
I think it speaks to the soul. It
Mhm.
speaks to the soul. It speaks to your heart. It brings joy. You can feel the joy of art, whether it be a visual or oral,
Mhm.
um, or even physical, because art can bring out the desire for you to move and dance and express that in dance, which is actually where I first started my interest in art, which was dance. And it just makes you feel empowered and special, and it allows you to be an open antenna
Mhm.
to almost connect with others.
Mm.
And it helps bring, even as a young child, I noticed it helps because, in my classroom, I had kids from Czechoslovakia, and I had kids from China. I had kids from India or Italy or Poland. And even though our language was not perfect when it came to communicating because of language barriers,
Mm-hmm.
art was a way that we would get together and have fun and connect.
Mm.
And it brought us into conversations from the second grade to the third grade, for actually the first grade as well. Miss Perlman, a great shout out to my teachers, Miss Perlman, Miss Lee Caldwell, Miss Reitman, and Miss Macchio. These were teachers that allowed safe space in classrooms where kids were all diverse, where we did art, we did everything together, we did math,
Mm-hmm.
we did science, but art, oh my God, it was such an instrument. It was an instrument for us to unite and work together and make that connection. And
Do
I
you have
think
a
that, so I still feel the same way.
Do you have a favorite genre of art?
I'm tossed between visual and music. Visual
Mm.
art and music plays a role together. I think they go side by side for me.
Like for me, I remember when I used to be on Wall Street. I used to walk to the galleries and just kind of just hang out and just look at art of all kinds. And I have a very eclectic taste in art because I love it all. Most of it, I should say, most of it. And but is there any particular art, whether it be because you have a Puerto Rican background, Puerto Rican heritage. Has your Puerto Rican heritage influenced your taste in the kind of art you're drawn to?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Growing up listening to Spanish music um, uh, was fascinating.
Mm.
I think as a child, I gravitated more towards the bolero, which were the
Mm.
romantic music. The um, and visually looking at the island, experiencing the island,
Mhm.
it did connect with the music that as a young child I began to draw palm trees and fruits and coconuts and all that. Anything that influenced me being in Puerto Rico, I think played a role, but the music had to be a part of it as well. So I
Mm.
think that's where I feel that visual and music are my strength when it comes to motivating me when it comes to art. Which brings me to up to today, where I do gallery shows. The
Yes.
visual is important for me, but more than just beautiful artwork, it has to tell a story
Yes.
because I experienced stories through what I would see as a child and hear in terms of music. And in many of my gallery shows, I play music that
You do.
complements the visual and the story that you're telling. So I think those two is who I am when it comes to art.
Wow.
Yeah, I
It
know it's almost like psychological.
Well, I mean, it's a full experience. I
Yeah,
mean, it's for you, art is not just the visual, but it's a whole experience.
it's a whole
It's
experience.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not just, "Oh, I'm gonna look at something on the wall."
right.
You're looking at it on the wall, but you want something more. You want to be able to maybe also experience the music from that artist, that culture, that uh, whatever's driving that artist to paint or create. Because you know a lot of artists. You have a big collection of art friends, folks that you went to school with, folks that actually do use their hands to create products and stuff like that and big murals and then you also know folks like myself and Omar and a bunch of other photographers. So how did that happen? How did you end up knowing all of these people, just kind of like positioning yourself to connect with so many from different, like, almost like you're a hub. You're like you're like the hub, and you are connecting out, you're going outward to all these different forms of art. You obviously from a dancer's point of view. So how did that happen?
Art for me, is a tapestry.
Mm,
And so with music and visual, I can actually weave a beautiful piece of art with many yarns and colors, and it becomes a beautiful tapestry piece. When I meet artists, that's how I see it. It's a
mhm,
tapestry, different cultures, different backgrounds, different mediums, uh, film, uh, paint, photography, dance, music. It's all in, for me, it's presented as a tapestry. And so when I want to create a story, I
mhm.
pull out where I feel it makes a connection. Even though it may differ, it may be different, it's still colorful and it works together, because one thing that we all have in common, although we're all different as artists, is that we are artists
Mm,
and that we're passionate and we believe in what we do, and we do it from our heart, mind, and soul.
mhm.
And when it's presented, whether it be solo or together, it all tells a story and it
Wow.
creates an experience for people. That's how I see all of you. Yes, I know you, Ron. You're a wonderful friend. You're a wonderful gentleman, and I love you and respect you for who you are. But then there's a gift that you have that I feel should not go unseen. It should not
Mm,
be dismissed. You have a gift to capture moments behind the lens. That needs to be shown so that others can connect to that experience of what you created through the lens.
wow.
So, whether it be you with photography or someone with fine artist who
Mhm.
paints and is telling a similar story to what you captured in the lens, I put it together. I weave it in together to tell
Wow.
that story. Yeah.
Who are who are some of your who inspires you? Like,
Every so
you
many people, so many
do
people
you have,
inspire
like,
me.
maybe 2 or 3 people that you say, "You know what? I wanna be like them when I grow up," or they cause such a response in you towards art that they're unforgettable. Is there any inspirational person in your life or
You know,
inspirational people?
um, the art of writing, that's an art.
Mhm,
And I have to say, I think the one who inspired me and influenced me through her words, believe it or
mm,
not, uh, was Maya Angelou.
wow,
Her words moved me, motivated me, and allowed me to not look at my insecurities and fears or
mm,
limitations, because society puts limitations at me being Latino.
yes,
Her words empowered me to get out of myself and move forward and trust, walk with trust. Even
mm,
though you don't know the person and they may not look like you, your level of connection with people first, especially in the arts, is to trust.
mm,
If there's mistrust, that's a part of the experience of life. But you cannot allow yourself to hold back. Because of that, you need to move forward. So Maya Angelou's poetry and words really empowered me to step out. My mother admired her and read her books, and I have to say, she's a real strong force. And then there are
mm,
others that have also influenced me with their work and with the things that they have done or what they have believed. You know, I respect and admire Nelson Mandela for what he stood for.
yes,
Um, does that have to do with art? No, but I'm the artist.
yes,
He was the motivator. He was
yes,
a perfect example of believing in liberty and freedom for all men. He also played a role in my life. And then there are others. There are artists. Yes, there are artists that have written plays or created music or just moved into new levels with their work that has also influenced me and inspired me. And it all, I think artists are made to inspire all artists, even though
Mhm.
we're not doing the same thing. Um, I think that's important. And so there are others too that are known, neighbors that have placed powerful words of motivations and hope in my heart and in my life of all cultures that
Wow.
has also played an important role. And of course, the love and the support of my mom, the the essence of strength of my father, um, the three children, the four children I have, because I have an adopted son too, who played a role in making me a father, has been an influence, and my precious wife, who 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 believes even in my limitations. She believes in me. That all has motivated me to step out. People need people. That's a
Yes.
song by Barbara Streisand, by the way. But people need people. There's such truth to that. We
Yes.
need each other. If we're isolated, there is no motivation. There's only self-ego. We feed ourselves, we move forward, and we do it for what? For ourselves? No, whatever we're going to do for others. So get to connect with others so that we can be inspired and learn and
Mm.
move forward so that we can accomplish goals that are set out there for us. And that's what's made me to do what I'm doing, especially with all of you, the wonderful artists that I see and the work that you create. Thank you for Maya Angelou, who moved me forward.
Wow. That you said a whole lot there. That was when you talk about wisdom being shared, that was a lot of wisdom. I am a believer, like yourself, that it is about community, is about connecting with others. We feed off of one another when it comes to
Yes,
ideas and thoughts and motivations. We can motivate each other. When we are islands to ourselves, we are not as effective to the world as we can be if we're with a army, a
absolutely.
community, a group that
Hmm.
takes us and makes us better at what we
Absolutely.
do. Um, yeah, speaking, I mean, your wife is amazing. She is. You just shared some a couple of layers there. Support systems.
Oh, yeah.
What are your? I mean, what are your? I mean, and we're gonna eventually talk. We're gonna go start diving into your cafe. But what are the support systems that is necessary for you to be who you are? What are support system mechanisms that you extrapolate from folks
Mm.
that create a better Nelson?
Well, first of all, my main support system is prayer. I have to pray,
Mhm.
and I have to get my inspiration through prayer, and always allow myself that whatever I'm carrying, to hand it over to my Savior. That support system. I think when people are in, I think it's very important that we reach out to them, because
Mhm.
as you help them, they help you. We
Yes.
learn. Once again, making that connection with people. That's the best support system we can have. Each other,
Mhm.
not being alone and not keeping it to yourself, but finding an area of people that a group of people that you trust. Doesn't have to be everybody, but two or three or four, and always meditating, making that a part of your walk in life.
Mm.
That plays an important role when it comes to support, because where else are you going to get your support system?
Yes,
If you
yes,
need therapy, go for it. I don't want to hear it.
yes.
If you need therapy, if life is, you're not handling life, or you're facing crisis that you cannot bear, therapy plays an important role. I've had therapy. I'm not
Yes,
ashamed to tell anybody. Especially being a man of color or
yes.
Latino. I've had therapy. My wife and I have therapy. My entire family, my wife and I, we sat down during COVID and had a
Mm.
good year and a half of excellent therapy.
Wow.
Because if you don't seek for that support, and that's where you're going to find your support, each
Yes.
other or people that you trust or professional therapy. Then it's going to be a very difficult journey.
Wow.
Yeah, that's important.
A can and let the church say amen.
Hey, look at mental illness. Look what's happening today.
Yes.
And without mentioning any names, I lost a favorite singer uh, in the gospel realm who I know for years faced depression
mm,
and was not afraid to talk about it. And she recently passed away, and I'm concerned that
yes.
there are many, whether you're a believer or not, who face mental depression or anxiety and keep it to themselves, and they don't seek for that support system. Where are you
Yes.
going to get the support system? It's the people next to you. It's the people that love you, whether
Yes.
they be artists or whatever. Never stay alone. Family or professional help. That's the
Yeah.
support system that I get. And I still do every day. I'm meeting people, I'm talking to people, I'm working with neighbors. We learn from each other. If
Mm-hmm.
you feel led to share something that's personal and you need support or advice, be open to it.
Yes.
You learn, and it sets you free. You're not by yourself.
I see here Elise says, I believe in therapy and a great support system.
Amen.
It
Thank
is
you, Elise.
so important. I tell people all the time, I come on here every day. How I started coming on here was because I just needed to be able to connect with folks.
Absolutely.
And now it's evolved.
And
But
and and if I may say, for the
mhm,
artists, I have a tremendous burden in my heart for artists
yes.
because many of them are not seeking support and they're not seeking help. And I see it. I'm there. Now that I'm involved with Café and I'm meeting new artists, you see the struggle. You can smell the
Yes.
alcohol. You can see
Yes.
the discoherence, because they're great artists, but they're afraid to reach out and make that connection. So,
Mm,
that's something that I'm looking into when I retire, hopefully next year. That as I continue to create Cafe, my nonprofit organization, and work with artists and spotlight artists of color, may God help me to be a vessel to encourage and try to guide those that I see, artists that are struggling, because it's out there. You see it.
yes. It is. It's photographers, it's artists, it's painters, it's writers. Because I think because as artists, we are in our heads a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We live in our heads, and we don't give the opportunity to get or we I should say we have to create opportunities to get out of our heads
Mm-hmm.
because we could stay there, we could live there, and living
Yes.
inside our heads is not always a good thing.
Yep.
Or we can have I remember the gentleman, I forgot his name. He works with the Gordon Parks Foundation, and he was sharing how um he had he had opportunity to get his work in, some top magazines, and he got a lot of adulation and a lot of coverage and out there, and people calling him now and calling his name and booking him and wanting him and all that stuff. And then you go to this point because you can only stay on that high for so long. The public will only keep you on the pedestal for so long, and then when you get into a position where there's not those people calling, they're not inviting you the invitations, you can kind of like withdraw and go into yourself.
Absolutely.
And usually what happens is, and he's mentioned this in one of his interviews, the battle of depression.
Oh my God. Yes.
And we artists battle a lot of, I know, I've had my moments of depression, and I have to always engage when I see it coming, when I feel it coming. I know it's time for me to get up and get out and connect or
Mm-hmm.
share or
Yes.
talk,
Yes.
because if you live in your head,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a spiral.
Yes, it does.
And
Yes,
But
it
no,
does.
that's a good point you bring up. And
Very important. Very important. Artists. For me, it hurts.
yes.
I feel like I let somebody down, and I hurt in such a way that it makes me very depressed. And you
Mm,
realize you can't make everybody happy, but that's why artists need to be in a support system. So
mhm.
whatever comes their way, drugs and alcohol is not the outcome, because you either cry and stay depressed. I'm the emotional one, or you get angry. But the way to escape that for many of them is drugs and alcohol, and that's not the answer. I go back to when you asked me about what's the support system I use.
Mhm.
People,
Yes.
people, people you can trust as an artist, people you can trust, you can share, or professional therapy.
Wow.
I think it's a big issue in the art world.
It is.
You
It
know,
is. I mean, because
I
it's
see
one
it.
of our. I think, and the I don't want to say the more of a genius you are in what you do, the more you are prone to
Yes,
the depression,
yes,
self what's the self-reflection that sees yourself in a
yes,
negative way versus
yes,
all the good that you may be accomplishing or have
yes.
accomplished.
Hmm.
Yeah, the more I mean, you think about all the
Oh, I do.
musicians like Michael Jackson,
Oh,
Prince, and Luther Vandross, and the list goes on and on.
yes.
Amy Whitehart, and all the, you know, the list that goes on and on of all the young folks that were artists that are
Yes.
no longer with us. Whitney Houston.
Hmm.
This this is a battle of its own
Hmm.
within the art world. Whether, like, again, music, all of it is all part of the arts. So you, because of your love for art and the artists, because I know everyone can sense your love, not just for art, but for the artists.
Hmm.
You created this incredible platform called Cafe.
Hmm.
I'm going to bring that up.
Cafe.
And
Yeah.
it is such a, for those, is the website is Cafe, CAFE. I'll bring it up at the end. But, and it's a collection of all of these um, artists, myself, and several folks. And you can dive into this, some of the exhibitions that Nelson's been responsible for and putting together here in the events. I had the opportunity to be a part of celebrating Black possibilities. And you have all these amazing artists. You not only, what was interesting about your platform as you created this is you didn't just want people to know about you.
No.
You really made an effort. You made sure you were like, okay, guys, I want your biographies. I want your information. Please put, I want to highlight you all on my website. This
Hmm.
website is not for me, it's for the people, it's for the artists. Y- Tell us about Cafe. What's your vision? What's your passion when it comes to Cafe?
Well, Cafet started as I think it's part of my childhood, also growing up and being fascinated with art and exploring all kinds of art globally since second grade, and going in through high school, which was junior high school 60. I majored in instrument and vocal, and on to High School of Art and Design, where I majored in visual arts and commercial arts. Um, art for me was, and it will always be, like the highlight of joy. And so I think it was in 2016, 17, 18, I was looking at my own children, my three
Mhm.
children, my four children. Um, Julian, my firstborn, went into LaGuardia um, for vocal and theater, but made it in vocal. And my two daughters, Abba and Avery, also followed, and they majored in theater. And then I realized, gee, my kids are following this journey of art, and I see them, and then I continue to see visual art everywhere. And I said to myself, I've always loved art, but I realized that there's not enough of artists of color that was now standing ahead of the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was 2019 or 2018 when I said, you know what? Someone invited me to an art show, and a friend of mine, Annie, and I had the opportunity of reuniting with someone that I went to school with, who was actually a year ahead of me, Albert
Mm-hmm.
Justiniano, brilliant young man. Um, and he had an art show somewhere in Brooklyn, and I went to it. Um, and when I went to the art show, it just hurt me because it was displayed in a bagel donut shop.
Mm.
And all my life going to museums and seeing all this beautiful European art, and now seeing that my children were walking into the area of art and were experiencing the European form of theater and opera and all that. I say, this is all wonderful. I love it. I love, Madame Butterfly, and I love, all the great operas at the Met. But where is artist of color? And this is a Puerto Rican artist. His work is brilliant. Albert Justiniano,
Mm.
in a bagel and donut shop. It
Mm.
just floored me. And I said, why not in a gallery, or why not in a space where it's a little bit more respected?
Yes.
That's what motivated me to create CAFED, which means Collective Artists of Ethnic Diversity.
Mm.
Um, so I just had a friend of mine from Croatia who was a manager of my son in a band, where he knew some great people at an area in Canal Street, Wall Play,
Mm.
I think it's called, where you rent out space in the city to do art shows. So I had him negotiate for me, because I had this desire of doing a show, taking Albert out of a bagel donut shop and others as well. And I formed a little group together, and we were able to confirm a gallery show in Canal Street for 10 days or 11 days. And the reaction of this show was overwhelming. People from all over the world. But the one thing that they kept saying, which was common, was, these are Puerto Rican artists that you know, because I wanted to dedicate the show to my mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
which both have passed away. And I wanted to keep it almost like a Puerto Rican thing. And they said, these artists are Puerto Rican. I didn't know they can do that. That opened up my mind and my heart. And I said, look at that. People are questioning Puerto Rican artists. No, they do more than just draw coconut palm trees and mangoes. They can do it all. Yes, they did this, and they did the shadow box of Frida by Annie Arroyo. And Albert, look at Albert's work. It belongs in MoMA. Beautiful artwork. And so that motivated me not only to move to the next level of creating an art show, spotlighting artists of color, but it opened up my heart and my mind. And I said, this is going to be more than just Puerto Rican artists, because that's segregated. If you're going to do this, you have to do it for all artists of
Mm.
color. And that's where the ball started rolling. I came back in 2019 at a place where I was invited. A wonderful woman by the name of Rolinda Ramos. She is in charge of the El Barrio Art Space. And in 2019, we were invited, what I did in Canal Street, to repeat at her gallery. It's a nonprofit gallery space, which I'm so grateful to her and to El Barrio Art Space. But then COVID shut us out. But it gave
Mm-hmm.
us 2 years. Was it 2 years, I think? Yeah, because it's 2019, 2020. And then we came in 2021 with the same show we did in Canal Street, but it was
Yes.
called Seeing Voices de Visiones Boricua. And there I was able to pull artists, Puerto Rican artists, Afro-Caribbean, Spaniard Caribbean, European Caribbean, Puerto Rican artists all together in the space. And that was the beginning of my vision coming to pass. And it once the day opened, the gala opened, and all those people attended, I said to myself, okay, I've had enough of this show. I'm moving on to the next vision. Now it's
Yes.
time for me to just break glass for the Black community. And I have to say, the Black community are far, far ahead of the Latino community. Thank God for NAACP and all the great information that's out there. They have been an example for me that if they can do it, we can do it. But I
Mm.
wanted to be responsible to create a show for Black artists, brilliant Black artists. And it was just, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It meant a lot to me. I met a lot of new Black artists, struggling artists, artists that had no faith in themselves.
Mm.
But when we created Celebrating Black Possibility in 2021, that to me was the icing on the cake.
Yes.
Again, another successful show. And that's when you came in. And when I saw your work on the website, I said, this is Ron Lewis. Wait a minute, is this my Ron Lewis Foster creating these pictures? Look at these pictures. Oh my God, there's stories. He's telling stories in these pictures, whether he's if he's in Africa or if he's in the streets of the city of New York. These are powerful stories. More than just stories. This is a film of the Black experience. This has to be shown and shared so that everyone can understand who we are. And that's
Yes.
where Black Possibility, again, being invited by Rolinda Ramos, and she was really had a strong desire. El Barrio Art Space is located on 99
Mm-hmm.
between 1st and 2nd Avenue. So it's predominantly Spanish Harlem, but she wanted to also create space and invitations to the Black artists to come in and display their work, and still does, of course. She
Wow.
was so happy. So it was like more than just me creating the show. It was like Miss Rolinda and me. It was like, wow, we're going to have a Black art show here at a Barrio Art Space. This is fantastic. And when you saw the audience come in, white,
Yes.
European, you were there,
Yes.
Asian. I met Korean visitors, Japan, Spanish, South America, Australia, people from everywhere admiring the artwork of Black artists. One common thing for the Spanish show, one common thing they said was like, I didn't know that Puerto Rican artists can create artwork like this. Okay, great. I learned from that. In the Black art show, the one common thing they all said was that kind of brings us together. Gee, this is a Black experience, but it reminds me of my grandma, or it reminds me of my grandfather. This painting tells the story of my life,
Mm.
but you're from Poland.
Mm.
So art can connect people from all over the world, no matter
Yes.
what culture you are. And that's when it was an eye-opening experience for me to learn that art is more than just it, therapy. It's medicine. It can
Yes.
heal. It can bring people together. Look at the world today. Look at America today. Whether you're a believer or not, even the Christians, they're divided and they're enemies.
Mm.
Art for me has become therapy and medicine and a way to bring people together.
Wow.
And since then, Café has been rolling one show after the other after the other. There was a show that God spoke to me. I didn't feel right. It was for 2023, where someone came to me and they said, I saw your work in Seeing Voices, Visiones Boricua. I saw your story in Celebrating Black Possibility. I have a situation here where I need help. It's Women's Month. I had someone who dropped out and I need to cover these dates. Can
Mm.
you come up with a show? Now, of course, foolish me, but wise me, I said to myself, I just finished celebrating Black Possibility, and they want me to do a women's show. And I look at the calendar, it's only giving me 8 weeks to do. But being an artist and learning from others, believe it or not, the voice of comedian Joan Rivers, out of all people,
Mm.
Joan Rivers came to my spirit and my heart when I remember she once said, never say no to anything that presents in your life as an opportunity. If
Mm.
you do it and you fail, then you fail. You learn from your mistakes, but you never say no when an opportunity comes your way. Thank
True.
you, Joan Rivers, the late Joan Rivers comedian. And so I said, yes, I'll do it. And of course, I almost killed myself, but I had to get a show together. And I was able to get 15 women. But then the following day, I felt convicted because Café is a vision of telling stories, artists of color. Why? Because we're marginalized and we're put them in the bottom of the poll. We're not prioritized.
Mhm.
Well, women are also marginalized and put at the bottom of the poll, underpaid, etc., etc. And so I felt in my spirit, if you're going to do a women's art show, you need to include all women of all cultures. So I had 15 female artists, uh, Black, Caribbean, African, Italian, Polish, Jewish from Israel, you name it. And it was a spectacular event and once again, an eye opening experience for me.
Wow.
And, you know, and today we have a new show now. I came back to celebrating um, Puerto Rican artists. So I did a
Mhm.
small scale show today in 2024, which is now still going on at the Key Smith Gallery. That's 174th Street in Manhattan, um, New York 1002. If you want to look up the information, Key I Smith Gallery, and it's called Rutas de Nuestros Caminos, and it's a beautiful show of two legends and two up and coming artists. They range from the 60s to the 2024. One particular artist, James Reyes, graduated from
Mm.
School of Visual Arts. And once again, it's people are receiving it, they're learning from it. People from all over the world, cultures are embracing it, and it just confirms to me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing until then I retire and move into my next chapter in life.
Wow. Man, this was you see how fast the hour goes by?
I know, I know. I
It was
talk too much. I'm sorry.
no, you didn't. No, you talked. I mean, you gave us a lot of wisdom. Nelson, one thing I will say, and I say this because I know you, I've known you now for more than 3 decades. And you and let me just go back to what Omar said here. Hold on a second. Omar says, I have never met such an encouraging person as Nelson. I am so thankful for his mentorship and support. You have supported so many people. You have encouraged so many artists. So many, and it didn't matter what kind of art they were doing. It didn't matter was it photography, was it a paintbrush, or someone singing in the choir. You have always lived your life trying to help others find their whatever that calling is. And you know, and when I first decided to do this touch base daily, one of the first people on the list was you. And I am so glad that you came to this audience, that you came here to visit us, to spend time with us. You you're special. There are not too many
Amazing.
people like you in the world, sir.
I think everyone is special.
Yes.
Everyone has this ability to just make feel people special. It's up to us if we allow ourselves to find who we are and receive the healing that we need and not be afraid to make these connections and step out. It's easy to
Yes.
just, you know, gel with everyone. There's really nothing special about me. I am who I am, but I I believe in people. I believe, and Ron, I ask you to be in the show because I believe in you. But I also credit you. You're special because you know what? You don't know me from beans. Getting involved with something that you didn't know anything, and I kept telling you, trust me, this is
Yes, you
going to
did.
be great, and you did. And see, so it's I'm special, but you're special, and we're all special. It's about getting set free from the negative and allowing ourselves to be at a place where God wants us so that therefore we can make these connections with all those strangers. My wife, I drive my wife crazy. I go everywhere and I speak to strangers. And why do you always have to talk to everybody? You're talking to, do you know this person? I said, no, but the channel was there. You step out in faith and you make that connection. And I think that's important. As you make me feel special, I make you feel special.
Yes. And you do it without us making you feel special. You, like I said, you are a special person, and you, there, I've met a lot of people in life. I was a PK growing up, adopted son of a pastor, um, going to church and meeting people and all from all backs of life and just where they came from. And I tell you, there are some people in your life that stand out more than others, and you are one of them. You've been
Amen.
gifted with a
Thank you.
special gift to connect with people, and not only to connect with people, but to connect people together. And so I am thankful for you joining us
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for inviting me.
And this was wonderful. We have to do a part two.
Why not? We'll come to maybe we'll do it at a gallery when I'm doing the
Yes,
show. That would be nice.
this was excellent. I mean, people are sharing hearts. They're sharing their
Oh,
applauds. They Cass says this was awesome. Thank you for
amen. Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you. You have a good
Um
audience.
Tonya says I could listen to Nelson for hours, for days. What a beautiful soul
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
inspiration.
Thank
This
you.
is
Thank you.
such an impactful interview. Thanks, Ron and Nelson.
And you know what? It's a miracle because Ron, my immediate answer was no because it's not about me. I don't want to be seen. Like you said, even in the website, the information that's in that my website about me. And by the way, let your audience know that I've been hacked.
Yes,
I have
yes.
been hacked in my website. They're working on it. The woman who created the website is in Australia and she got the message. I've been hacked by China and Russia. Something about the Bitcoins or Bitcoins, and the other one is to invest in TikTok. That is not my information. You'll find that I think where it says the blog.
Yeah,
Well, you see the
it's in the
Russian.
blog section. The rest of the
Yeah,
website is intact.
yeah. Everything is
However, they
intact.
attacked the blog.
Yeah.
So this is
So
all in the blog section.
yeah,
So it
I'm a
just needs
non.
they're gonna work on getting rid of this.
Yeah, they're
And
working on it now. I'm a nonprofit. I'm not allowed to do any of that stuff. And
yeah,
I have information if anybody wants to donate. You could find the donation I think in Cafed. And I
mm-hmm,
also created
right here.
a GoFundMe. You'll find it under supporting artists of ethnic diversity. This show
Yes.
that I created now at the Keith Smith Gallery in Manhattan was my way of meeting this person who owns this gallery in favor that if they sell the artwork, the donation will be made to Cafe. It's about all the money going into Cafe because I have so many stories in my head that I want to create. I even want to bring high school students and have them experience a moment of sharing what it is to have a gallery show. But funding is my struggle. I'm trying to find for somebody to write funds for me because I don't know how to write funds. But if I have to sit down and struggle and how to put grants and stuff like that, I'll do it. But $15, $20, whatever you feel in your heart to support the cause of this mission moving forward.
Yes.
But thank you, Ron, for this. And I only said yes to do this because I said, you know what, I gotta get out of my
Get out of your comfort zone, sir.
comfort zone and you know and do what needs to be done. I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by so many artists through my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Many in the community, many known too. I've had neighbors, I won't mention any names, that are in the arts and meet some artists in person too. So there must be a reason why I'm doing this, right?
Man, you are the blessing. And
Yeah.
well, guys, we'll have to leave it here. And thank you for again, Nelson. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining this community. We love you. The love is here in the room. People are responding and sharing. And I'm hoping. And guys, again, if you want to make a difference, really go to the website, connect. I put up here. Here's the IG as well. If you go to the IG account, there's a link in his link tree that will take you to everything he's doing as well. So check
Yeah.
that out. I will be at the gallery today.
Oh,
So I'll be hanging out to go see the work that's being done at the gallery. So I'll be there today to support that.
oh.
And also,
Maybe I'll go if you're there. I'll go with you.
yeah, I'll meet you. I mean, I'll be going around because I think it starts at you have the
I
gallery opens at 3.
I think it opens from 12 to 6, but I think today they're doing like a special tour at 6 o'clock.
Okay, so I'll be there at
Yeah,
6.
there's a group of people meeting there, so I might join you.
Okay, I'll be there at 6. There we
Wow,
go.
great, great.
And we have here Jeffrey says, thank you, Nelson and Ron, for a much needed dose of inspiration.
Oh, I
And Hannah
appreciate
says,
that.
thank you, Ron and Nelson. This was needed today. I see the
Oh,
hand applause from Sandra and
thank you.
hands from Aya. And yes, so this was wonderful, guys. And
Thank
thank
you.
you for
Thank you.
joining us. And
Thank
we
you.
will be back tomorrow. So check us out tomorrow as we have our regular Thursdays of politics and all the other stuff that we talk about on Thursdays. But excuse me, thank you so much for joining us today. And I think that's it. We're going to head out. Later.